Don't you worry, Guyana, cause we got you. If and Mark and Bharat are here for you. Improving the nation, better education, delivering 20,000 scholarships, and it's all for you. Don't you worry, Guyana, cause we got you. So many opportunities, so many universities, studying all from the comfort of your home. The Guyana Online Academy of Learning. So get a line and go apply. This will change your life. Don't you worry, Guyana, cause we got you. Don't you worry, Guyana, we're here for you.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Hello, you're tuned into Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5. I am Kayla King, and this is your news at noon. Coming up after the break, these are the stories that we are tracking. Girl 15 confesses to helping bury sister in shallow grave. Boyfriend on the run and father in custody. Patterson says Jagdeo misled nation on gas to shore project. Says it is not economically and environmentally sound as presented. Will leave Guyana saddled with largest PPP white elephant. PAHO flags South America for high COVID-19 death toll, recommends tighter restrictions. ExxonMobil ignores Guyana's flaring and gas leak troubles during earnings call, says Stabroek Block production up to 70% from last year, boasts to investors about climate-friendly operations. Do stay tuned.
Spend your Saturday afternoon with me, Shivani Rampusad, rocking to your favorite Bollywood tunes on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM from 1 o'clock up until 4 o'clock. Bollywood tunes only on the radio with a difference.
Welcome back. Let's get to the news. The Guyana Police Force has issued a wanted bulletin for 21-year-old Shaquan Allen after the decomposed body of his 20-year-old girlfriend, Shauna Dover, was discovered by ranks in a shallow grave at the back of his Canvas City home in the wee hours of Friday morning. The woman was missing for 28 days, leaving family and friends deeply concerned about her whereabouts. According to the police, Dover's 15-year-old sister was contacted on Thursday evening and was interviewed in the presence of a child care and probation officer. During the interrogation process, Kaieteur News understands that the teen allegedly confessed to the crime and agreed to take investigators to the scene, where she said she, along with Shaquan, allegedly buried her sister. Shaquan is no stranger to the law, as he was remanded to jail for possession of narcotics when he was 17 years old. His father, Sean Allen, is a high school teacher. Investigations into this gruesome case are ongoing. Now let's tell you, Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo this past week misled the nation when he provided a briefing on his administration's vaunted gas to shore project, and has in fact not disclosed the truthful figures on the financial and economic impact on the country. To this end, the Alliance for Change, in rubbishing the sentiments expressed by Vice President Jagdeo, is calling for more studies to be done on the initiative before the country is left with the greatest and largest People's Progressive Party white elephant. These views were expressed by the opposition's Shadow Minister for Oil and Gas, David Patterson, himself a former minister with responsibility for the sector, during a party press engagement on Friday. In other news, the Pan American Health Organization has flagged South America for the alarming number of COVID-19 cases and deaths that are being recorded. At a COVID-19 press briefing on Wednesday, PAHO's director, Dr. Carissa F. Etienne, stated that over the past week in the Americas, more than 1.4 million people were infected with the virus and 36,000 died. In addition, the director noted that the health systems, especially those in South and Central America, are struggling to cope, given the high influx of patients. Generally, the Americas have been seeing high numbers of deaths and infections, but they are spiking across South America at an alarming rate. On multiple occasions, it has been reported that the government will not tighten certain measures in a bid to balance the sustainability of businesses and public health. This leaves a fundamental question unanswered. Will Guyana only follow suit when the pandemic has escalated beyond control? Now let's tell you, executives of U.S. oil major ExxonMobil on Friday during the company's first quarter earnings call for shareholders and investors boasted of reduced emissions from their operations globally and has in fact credited the first quarter of the year as being its most reliable and best managed operations ever. Its reports, however, did not acknowledge the company's troubles in Guyana, where the flash gas compressor on board the Liza Destiny floating production, storage, and offloading vessel has led to numerous instances of flaring toxic pollutants into the atmosphere from its Stabroek Block operations. It is now 12 hours 26. Coming up after the break is government withholds GT Mayor's $75,000 stipend. Alleged priest killer remanded. Stricter penalties needed for public officials making racially insensitive comments, says ex-ERC commissioner. And GPL blackouts claim a plan to justify money for the boys, as AFC calls for investigations into hiring of foreign contractors. Stay tuned to stay informed. Welcome back. For the past several months, the government of Guyana has been reportedly withholding the Georgetown mayor, Yubraj Narayan's $75,000 stipend. Narayan, in an interview with this publication, stated that since October 2020, his stipend was halted by the government. He also said that the town clerk and other executives of the local organ of the Georgetown municipality are experiencing similar issues. The mayor said $75,000 won't mind me, but it's the victimization from the government to the Georgetown municipality. He further added that since his stipend was halted, he spoke to the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, Nigel Darmlal, several times concerning the issue, but nothing has changed. Meanwhile, the third suspect in the killing of former Anglican priest George Takasang, who was found dead in his home last December, was on April 23rd remanded to prison after he was charged with murder. The defendant, Orlando Richards, a pork knocker of Lot 192 Port Morant, Quarantine, Berbice, made his first court appearance in the Georgetown Magistrates Court before Principal Magistrate Sherdal Isaacs Marcus, when a joint murder charge was read to him. The 21-year-old was not required to plead to the indictable charge, which alleged that between December 18, 2020 and December 2020 at Sidwell's Anglican Church, located at the corner of Hatfield and St. Roads, Georgetown, he murdered Chuck Asang. Magistrate Isaacs Marcus then remanded Richards to prison, and the matter was adjourned to May 28, 2021. Former Ethnic Relations Commissioner Pandit Deodat Prasad has recommended stronger penalties for public officials who make racially insensitive comments. Following the expiration of the Ethnic Relations Commission's Board of Commissioners last week, Prasad published a list of changes needed within and outside of the ERC in a bid to foster better ethnic relations in Guyana. While speaking to Kaieteur News yesterday, the former commissioner expounded on his recommendation, stating that the stronger penalties are essential since many loopholes allow public officials to get off with making insensitive statements. He outlined that many politicians are aware of how they can trespass the law as it relates to making racially insensitive comments, so what they do is operate within the law while still causing some form of damage. The spate of recent blackouts by the Guyana Power and Light Corporation, taken together with claims by senior members of the ruling administration, including Vice President Dr. Bar Jagdeo, of no investment in the utilities company's transmission and distribution network in recent years, is just another ploy to justify hiring foreign contractors in another scheme being labeled Money for the Boys. This was the position adumbrated by Alliance for Change, General Secretary David Paterson, who responded yesterday to the claims that the coalition administration, while in office, neglected the GPL grid, to point that has led to the recent spate of blackouts. It is now 12 hours 30. Coming at this time is the COVID-19 statistics from Worldometer. Coronavirus cases worldwide are now at 152.1 million, whereas deaths are at 3.1 million, and in the case of recoveries, 129.4 million. Locally, the Ministry of Health yesterday reported that a 57-year-old woman from Region 4 who tested positive for the novel coronavirus has died. Her death now brings the country's COVID-19 death toll to 296. According to the ministry's press release, the woman died on Thursday while receiving treatment at a medical facility. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health also recorded 177 new COVID-19 cases, taking the total number of confirmed cases to 13,283. The dashboard shows that 15 patients are in the COVID-19 intensive care unit, 85 persons are in institutional isolation, 1,679 are in home isolation, and 13 persons are in institutional quarantine. To date, 11,208 recoveries have been recorded. That just about brings us to the end of our news at noon, but before we wrap things up, let's head over to the page 7, which is dedicated to being blunt. The PPPC government says the Gas to Shore project is good for Guyana, that the pros outweigh the cons. If so, let them show us the evidence. Show the people the financial studies you did, which prove that this project is sound. Prove that you are not leading Guyanese into another debt trap. Show the people that this will not be another white elephant like the $200 million Skeldon factory. Stop treating Guyanese like fools and earn their trust for their mega project. I am Kayla King. This was your news at noon. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on